Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Trainer Havoc here. This is kind of just a side one. I wanted to talk about PSA and some graded cards I've been collecting and why I've kind of been collecting it. I have like 3 different piles here. I don't know how much different the content and what I'm going to say it is, but I'll just jump into them. I have been collecting some PSAs, and I'm just going to go ahead and cover it like this. And I've been starting to collect full art Vs. Now, these are, these are fairly recent, easy to get a hold of. You can still open them, but I've been also trying to look very specifically for PSA 10s. And so what we're actually going to see here, I want to hide them all like this, but I've been finding some of my favorite pulls, a lot of them from Darkness Ablaze, and I've been getting them in PSA 10s. The reason I'm choosing full arts is just a very personal reason. I don't really think the rainbow stuff looks very good. The VMAX do, but the VMAX are kind of a flop, I feel like. So here we got Crobat, one of my all-time favorites, and we got a 10 on that one. So I've been collecting these, and so the thing is when you go onto eBay and you're doing auctions and stuff like that, I don't necessarily buy them straight up outright. I think this is just a base set one, so actually I pulled this one before I lose. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I like the full art. So when you're pulling them and they're freshly new, so when you're doing them on auctions, they're fairly cheap, right? This is Champion's Path. This is one I have opened very little of, but I love Gardevoir, also a 10. When you're opening these up or buying these on auctions, you can get them for a really, really good price. So I actually have a gold card of this, and I have now a full art PSA 10, which I prefer. Maybe not over the gold, but definitely over any rainbow rares and stuff like that. So there you go, Zamazenta and a Zacian, the full arts, both from the base set. And the reason is because you can get them for under $50. You can get them for fairly cheap when you're bidding for them, as long as you're lucky and the way you bid and stuff like that. I gotta use sniping and whatnot. It's unfortunate. But right now, for the last I've heard, and maybe I should look it up right now as I'm talking, but PSA, it's $150 to grade a card, right? So like I'm buying this $40, let's say hypothetically. That's $110 less than what it would cost to go get this card graded now. What does that mean? Well, that means that people aren't going to send this card to get it graded as often. And if they're not going to send it to get it graded as often, the population doesn't move on this card. And so the demand will continue to increase as they get harder to find and people realize, man, that was a beautiful full art. I should have gotten that. And so these are going to spike in price. So investment-wise, that's exactly what it is. Now, these two are just older generations. This is from Shining Legends Entei Full Art GX. And this one's also a 10. So these ones are even harder to find than a full art V, right? So the older the generations get, the better. And so, of course, EX, I think, is my sweet spot. I lose a lot of auctions on these ones because EX is so popular. I did not lose this one, and of course I got it as a 10. So these are getting much harder to find, much more expensive, so quickly. And as you can see, this is actually like an older backing. Compare them right here. So that actually makes this one a lot more fun for me. But yeah, they're all just getting much, much more difficult, especially with 10s. 10s are insane. If anyone looks at anything PSA, you know that buying a 10 is an insane thing to do. So you got to do it. Like this card itself, this is an uncommon base set Arcanine, and it's a 10. That's going to be hard to find. That is an expensive card, and this is just an uncommon. It's not full art. There's nothing special. It's just one of the oldest cards. And it's a base set 10. And so I used to have a few, like a Drowsy and stuff like that. And I sold them or whatever I did with them. I gave them away. Because I didn't care about commons or uncommons. And I feel really dumb because everyone wants this now, right? This is the set people want. It's one of the many sets. And so buying that in a 10 is stupid rare. So here we go into... I have 2 of this. I'm going to assume, I think it's this one. I say I think it's this one because I keep this one as well is 2 Steelixes from Neo Genesis. Here we go. We got a Hollow 9 and a Hollow 9. Do you know how much, like, I can't afford this in a 10. So what's the next thing people are going to do? They're going to go for a 9. 9 is basically perfect, other than the fact that there's some, like, manufacturer flaw, but the condition of the card is immaculate. So it could be centering issues. Sometimes they come with these little white specks, like there's one little white dot there and one little white dot there, and I think that's why it's a 9. So now PSA 9s, where people wouldn't be so interested in getting them before, are much more interested in now, especially with these older ones, holographic and stuff like that. You know, you got to get what you got to get. If you can't afford a 10, you go for a 9, and these 9s are going to skyrocket because 8s are going to become more viable now, just because it's so expensive to send this stuff off to PSA. I got my, you know, my first favorite Pokemon and my other first favorite Pokemon, which might be mine. I don't know. I would say my second, but it's actually another Neo Genesis, Kingdra, right here, and this is a PSA 9, and this last one is the exact same thing, PSA 9. So I managed to get some good deals on these Neo Genesis PSA cards, and I just thought I would show them and talk about why I started collecting PSA specifically. I think there are other grading companies out there, but it'll just take some while for people to grow comfortable and like say, yeah, this is a grading company I want to go to. I know people try it. There are populations out there for that. But PSA is a well-known one. They were the other alternate besides Beckett, and they're now kind of the one you see, you know? Like, there are Beckett ones, and people will look at the Beckett ones, but, like, PSA is kind of the go-to, like, when you think graded right now. And so, yeah, I've been looking into this and kind of collecting more, because, again, like, whether or not these are worth $150, you know, even as PSA 9s or whatever, they're only going up in price because it's getting more expensive. And I don't think that'll always be the case. PSA will probably lower their prices, but until then, like, you know, I'm not gonna go spending $200 to $400 on some cards I can afford. So get what you can on those auctions, and those values rise for you. And for me, I also just really enjoy looking at these cards, and I'm loving having excellent condition holographics of my favorite Pokemon. If I can ever get 10s of these, of course I'll want them, but like, I have to get the right deal at the right moment, at the right time, the right place. And so that, I'm not gonna count on it. I will look around, but I'm very happy with these as well. I used to like get bothered by 9s. Some of my older ones I have right here, first editions right here, they're 9s and stuff like that. I even have an 8. And they kind of annoyed me, but like now I'm like, oh, first edition fossil cards, I want to keep these. So anyways, I just thought I'd make a quick video, kind of give you my thoughts on these graded situations and what's going on, and I hope I didn't waste your time and you enjoyed the information. So if you did, please leave a like. I'm going to try to do some different videos here that I'm just not opening, and if you subscribe, maybe you'll get to come along and see some of those. All right, thank you guys very much. Bye-bye.